I invite my colleague from the School of Social Work, Michael Hurlburt, who's the Associate Dean for Faculty Affairs, who's going to talk to you a little bit about thoughts from the social work side of the House.
Thank you, Eric. And I too will try and look in both directions, and I also have some notes, not because I'm going to read them, but because I just want to make sure not to forget some of the things that I want to try to make sure to say. First of all, I'm Mike Hurlburt. I am our Associate Dean for Faculty Affairs. I used to be our doctoral program director, so it's very exciting to see lots of doctoral students and also to hear the comments prior, because I too believe that the intersection of disciplines is really where we are as a society today in terms of solving complex problems. So exciting to be here at Case, and just to try and give myself a little bit of street cred. When I was in so I kind of think of myself as a person born in the computer age, right? You know, I was born at the time when Texas Instruments and Atari were putting computers into the home for the first time, and I was programming things like programs that were for the social good, like how to match people in my high school for dating. No, seriously, I actually tried to write a program to do that, but in graduate school, I also was working on neural networks for the first time. I was a developmental psychologist working in the area of language development. Neural networks were a big deal, and starting to think about kind of how we think about brains and learning, and was trained by someone. You know, you have those people in your life who you're trained by, who you're like, they were really influential, they're inspirational. I was trained by a guy named Robert Hecht Nielsen. I don't know if anyone happens to know his name, but he was at the forefront of neural networks and cognition in the 90s, 80s, 90s, and had one of the only successful businesses at the time. You know, neural networks kind of went away for a while, and now they've come back now that we've got all this power, and he predicted that, right? He said, once we have all this computing power and all these data sets, we'll be able to do amazing things. There's nothing that AI can, basically he's saying that nothing that AI can stop. He was seeing the future. Very much an entrepreneur, very much thinking about the social good, right? Engineering is about making each human life better. So I was inspired by him. So I'm ultimately, you know, I'm trained in social sciences. I'm a social scientist. My experience of the social sciences, I just gloss over big picture, is that our theories tend to think of the world as very static, kind of biological, mechanism oriented. I don't think that's the way engineers think about the world. So why did I end up in social work? I ended up in social work because social work, I think, is a place where we see the world as constantly changing. And I've been around long enough to see every year and go, wow, that was a big change. You know, and I can see all the way back from my TI and my Atari to where we are now. And it's like, you know, we've got neural networks that look like little amoebas compared to the complex organisms we have today. But social work, where was social work born? Social work was born out of the influence of technology in the late 1800s and 1900s, steam engines and railroads, and those technological forces that rammed through our society and changed it in unpredictable ways. Now, I think the reality is we don't know how AI today is going to change our society, but we need to prepare for it. And social work has had positive influences that we all live with today, like Social Security, like workforce protections, other kinds of things that shape the lives we live in and almost take for granted. So I'm here to be a cheerleader for all of you, but also to be a cheerleader for social work in Case. And I want to just credit Case and with being there early as AI was really ramping up again and neural networks were ramping up again. I think it was 2016, right? Case got going and said, we need to put social work and engineering and other disciplines together. You know, my experience is that social work has often been a counterforce in society, right? Calling out where technology is doing damage and harm. It's not only technology, but all kinds of things, money and power, right? Those are the basic things that social work worries about. What I appreciate about Case is that rather than just being a counterforce from the outside, we're trying to do it together, right? And I think that's where we need to be today, is anticipating. We don't know what's coming. Some of it's going to be great. Some of it, I'm not Elon Musk. I don't think that it's all going to be bad and it's going to blow up, right? But there's going to be some harms, and there's going to be some things that are really good. And the social work influence here is about both looking for the opportunities to do things differently, but also to anticipate the harms. And what I like about CASE is it's just a place where we can talk about that, talk about those things in intelligent ways. Just a couple more things, a little bit more social work history or values lesson before I wrap up. Social work, what does it bring? Bring some, we throw around the word social justice in our society these days a lot. Social work actually brings some theoretical perspectives about social justice from folks like Amartya Sen and John Rawls. So if we want to really get into what social justice means, I'd encourage you to read some theoretical perspectives about that. What does social work bring? It brings that kind of perspective. It brings a sociological perspective. It also brings a values perspective. And I heard in the last speaker's comments, bringing values, actually several times, bringing values into engineering and the problem-solving space. And I won't go into the specific values of social work, but I'd encourage all of you who are unfamiliar with them to familiarize yourself with the values of social work and what guide the social work perspective. I'll just mention such things as human relationships being at the core of our experience as human beings. Fundamental dignity of and worth of persons. I'm being told to stand over here, which is fine. That's fine. That's fine. I understand. And attention to power structures, because power structures are always shifting. Money and influence and where damages will hit are always changing, right? Society's always changing. So I'm excited by being able to just say a few words here, excited by the potential that this group represents. I work at the level of doctoral education, and we're trying to do more interdisciplinary things with the graduate school. That's a graduate school's view as well. So hopefully there's some harmony between things happening generally between centers like this and what's happening at the doctoral education level. So thanks for giving me a few minutes to speak.
All right. Thank you both, Gaurav and Mike, again for coming and representing Viterbi and, well, the new school, I guess, engineering and social work. I'll be more a little less Viterbi focused.